Here's a strange fact about dogs. The average dog owner would rank in the top percentile of people who love their pet. And yet, ask any veterinary behaviorist and they'll tell you the same thing. Most trust problems between dogs and owners aren't caused by cruelty, they're caused by mistranslation. You can love your dog completely and still be sending signals they read as confusing or even a little scary. Not because they're too sensitive, because you're speaking two different emotional languages and nobody ever handed you the dictionary. Today, we're going through 7 everyday habits that quietly wear down a dog's trust. Not the obvious stuff like yelling or punishment, the small, well-intentioned moments that slip past almost every owner completely unnoticed. And we'll look at what actual behavioral research says is happening inside your dog's head when these moments happen. Some of it might genuinely change how you see your daily routine together. Let's start with the one that happens in almost every household, without anyone noticing. Number 1, ignoring the quiet signals. Dogs don't usually go from fine to growling in one step. There's a whole conversation that happens first. A lip lick, a half-second freeze, a head turn, a slow lean away. Behaviorists often call these calming signals or displacement signals, small physical cues a dog uses to say, "I'm not comfortable right now." Most people never learn to read them, so the first signal they actually notice is the growl, the last resort, the loudest possible version of a message the dog's been sending quietly the whole time. And a lot of owners correct that moment, a firm no, a scolding tone, sometimes physical correction. Here's the problem with that. You haven't stopped the discomfort, you've just taught the dog that reporting it out loud gets punished. The dog doesn't become calmer after that, they become quieter because they've learned escalation is risky, not because whatever bothered them actually stopped. And that's the difference between a dog who trusts you and a dog who simply learned to stay silent. Number 2, affection on your terms only. This one's uncomfortable because it usually comes from real love, full-body hugs, face-to-face closeness, picking them up when they didn't ask for it. To us, that's affection, but to a lot of dogs, physical restraint, even gentle restraint, isn't naturally read as comfort. It's tolerated, and tolerated is a very different thing from enjoyed. You can usually tell the difference if you watch closely. A stiff body during a hug, a head turned away mid-kiss, a yawn that has nothing to do with being tired. Same calming signals from before, just showing up during the affectionate moments instead of the scary ones. None of this means stop touching your dog. It means noticing that dogs tend to prefer touch that's offered rather than imposed. A hand presented before contact instead of a hand dropped straight onto the head. A scratch on the chest instead of a pat from above. The option to walk away without being followed. Respecting that doesn't make you less affectionate, it just makes the affection something your dog can actually opt into. Number 3, rules that move depending on your mood. Picture this. The couch is allowed on Monday, off limits on Tuesday. Jumping up is funny when you're in a good mood and gets scolded when you're tired. Nothing about the dog's behavior changed, your tolerance did. Humans can absorb that kind of inconsistency because we understand context and reasoning. Dogs are pattern-based learners. They don't experience "you're just having a rough day" the way we do. They experience it directly as "the rules keep changing and I don't know why." There's actual research relevant here. A researcher named Lisa Horn studied something called the secure base effect in dogs. Essentially, the idea that a secure base, an owner works like a home base a dog can explore the world from. The same concept originally studied in human attachment between children and caregivers. When that home base becomes unstable, when the reactions and boundaries keep shifting, the dog loses that steady reference point. The result isn't some dramatic behavior change, it's quieter than that. More watchfulness, more uncertainty about what's coming next. If you've ever noticed your dog seeming to check in with your face a lot before doing something, this might be part of why. Number 4, rushing the walk. For a person, a walk is often just exercise, start point, end point, done. For a dog, a walk is closer to reading a newspaper. Every scent on the sidewalk is information. who passed by, how they were feeling, what's new in the neighborhood. Sniffing isn't a delay in the walk. For a dog, sniffing basically is the walk. So when every single outing turns into, "Come on, hurry up, leave it, let's go," the dog loses one of the only chances they get all day to actually process their environment on their own terms. Over time, walks stop feeling like a shared activity and start feeling like being towed through a world they're not allowed to experience. This one's an easy fix, at least in theory. A few unhurried minutes where your dog's nose gets to lead isn't indulgence, it's just giving the walk back the kind of enrichment it was supposed to provide in the first place.
Number 5. Forcing confidence instead of building it. This one almost always comes from good intentions. He needs to get used to it. If I just keep exposing her, she'll realize it's fine. And sometimes gradual exposure genuinely helps a fearful dog. But there's a real difference between supported exposure and just holding a dog in a situation until they stop resisting. If a dog is overwhelmed, too many people, too much noise, another dog getting too close, and the response is to keep them there anyway, insisting it's for their own good, something specific happens. The dog doesn't learn this is safe, they learn I get kept here even when I'm struggling. And that changes how they relate to you specifically during the next stressful moment. Genuine confidence tends to build through small, manageable wins, enough distance to feel okay, the ability to retreat if needed, exposure paced by the dog's own recovery, not just repetition. A dog who's allowed an exit tends to come back on their own. A dog who isn't just learns to endure. Number 6. Using pressure when a dog is already confused. Firm voice, looming posture, a sharp leash correction, a frustrated repeated no. It's easy to read this as the dog testing you or being stubborn, but a lot of the time what looks like defiance is actually closer to confusion. The dog genuinely doesn't understand what's being asked, and what they're getting back is pressure instead of clarity. There's research that speaks directly to this. Behavior researcher Rachel Casey and her colleagues studied dogs trained using more aversive methods, using something called a cognitive bias task, essentially testing whether dogs expected good or bad outcomes in an ambiguous situation. Dogs trained with more aversive methods tended to respond more pessimistically, expecting the worse outcome more often. And that's notable because it wasn't just a behavior difference, it suggested an actual shift in how that dog expected the world to treat them. Not just, this dog obeys less, but this dog expects things to go badly more often. So when a dog is already unsure of what's wanted and the answer is more pressure instead of more clarity, the risk isn't just a training setback, it's a small shift in how safe the world generally feels to that dog. Number 7. Only responding when they're loud. Save the most common one for last because almost every dog owner does this without realizing it. The dog barks, you look up. The dog paws at your leg, you respond. The dog whines and jumps, suddenly you're fully present. Meanwhile, the quiet moments pass without any response at all. The soft lean against your leg, the calm settle nearby, the toy gently placed at your feet. The quiet check-in from across the room. Those quiet moments are bids for connection too. They're just easy to miss because they're not disruptive. And if the only bids that consistently get a response are the loud, insistent ones, a dog learns something very practical. Calm doesn't work, intensity does. Ironically, a lot of what looks like needy or attention-seeking behavior isn't a sign of a spoiled dog. It's a dog who learned through trial and error which volume actually gets noticed. The fix here doesn't cost anything. It's just catching the quiet moment before it becomes a loud one. Glancing over when your dog settles calmly nearby, acknowledging the soft lean instead of only reacting to the bark. None of these 7 things make you a bad owner. Every one of them comes from a completely understandable place. Busy schedules, good intentions, habits nobody ever explained clearly. Dogs, for what it's worth, are remarkably forgiving of all of this. But the underlying pattern is worth sitting with. Trust isn't built primarily through big gestures. It's built through hundreds of small, ordinary moments where a dog's signals get noticed instead of overridden. Once those small moments start adding up in the right direction, you don't just get a more obedient dog, you get one who feels genuinely safe with you. And that changes almost everything else about how they behave. If any of these caught you off guard, let us know in the comments which one hit hardest. I'm willing to bet it's not the same one for everyone. And if you want more of this kind of research-based look at what's actually going on in your dog's head, subscribe, because that's exactly what this channel is built around. Not guesswork, actual behavioral science explained in a way that's actually useful day to day.